Hey creative professionals, Savannah here, videographer turned creative community manager at Blended Sense. I'm here with Sheila, our model, and she's gonna be helping us place a lav mic today. All right, I wanna start us off with how to loop the cable of the lav mic. So when you first get your lav mic, it's gonna come like this. Potentially, it might even come like this as 3 different parts. So you're gonna wanna use this little lever here to slip this over your lav mic and then screw on the little cap, just like that. And now you're ready to loop your lav. Bring this up like this, kind of create an S shape, and then I'm gonna slip that S shape into the handle here. So I'm making sure that I'm clipping one side of it here and the other side is living in this little triangle area. And this creates an S curve, which looks nice and organized. All right, so a quick note about boundaries. Obviously, you always wanna ask for consent before touching any of your talent. So you would wanna say something like, hey, I'm going to be placing a lav mic on you now. Is it okay if I clip, if I touch your shirt a little bit? And they would say yes or no. And then you can place the lav mic and then again, walk them through, okay, now I'm gonna ask you to feed this cable through your shirt and pull it out the bottom. Do you mind doing that for me? Also, once it comes out the bottom, I try to avoid grabbing at it and I just say, can you hand me the end of the cable, please? And then they'll hand it to you. Another note to remember is that if there's ever a child involved, make sure that you have the parent around while you place a lav mic. In the event that someone says, I'd rather not be touched, can I place it myself? Go ahead and demonstrate for them how you'd like them to do it on your shirt. Make sure that you're over communicating with them what you need them to do. Blazers are probably my favorite of all clothing items to place a lav mic on because they're just super easy. So we're gonna be about 1 hand length like this, 1 hang loose sign down from her chin. And we're just gonna slip it right on there. So this is one way to place it where all you see is the pin, which is kind of a nice look. And she's looking this way in camera, so her voice will travel this way as well, so it's good to be on that side of her. If you wanted to see the mic for whatever reason, you would have to remove your loop, take this off, and flip this, place it back, and then we'll do our loop again. And now we've got the lav mic facing out, in case her blazer was maybe causing audio issues. A blazer is obviously best case scenario, but they might not always come to set wearing that. So I wanna show you a few more options you can use for different types of shirts. All right, so here is how to place a lav mic on more of a button-up style shirt. I would go about 1 button down, and you're just gonna clip it right there on the shirt. And then of course, you're gonna make sure that you ask your talent, do you mind if we feed this cable down your shirt? You can just feed it, you just tell them you can feed it in through your shirt here and out the bottom. So Sheila, would you mind feeding this lav mic through your shirt for me? And I'll say, go ahead and hand me the end of the cable. Perfect. Looks pretty good. It's going on the nice and good. So I think that's the best. That's what I would do in this scenario. All right, so let's say our interview's finished and now we're gonna take the lav mic off. I would go ahead and say, hey Sheila, would you mind unclipping your lav mic for me? And then just drop it down your shirt. Go ahead and pull it out here. Thank you so much. Perfect. And now you have your mic back. All right, so now we have a challenging shirt. This shirt is very loose. It's kind of a flimsy fabric. What I would do for a crew neck is I wanna kind of aim to have the mic right about here. If camera's that way, then, probably right about here. I'm gonna go ahead and place it there. Do you mind if I place this mic on your shirt?
Sure.
Okay. Would you feed this cable down your shirt for me? So now this happens a lot actually. The lav mic is heavier than the fabric, so it's pulling it underneath. So you wanna make sure if that happens, you just give their shirt a little tug, pull your lav mic back out. But now we've got this tangled mess. What this tells me is that the lav mic needs to be inside the shirt because it's too heavy. So I'm gonna unclip it, flip it around. There's an option. I don't love the way the cable looks yet, so I think I'm gonna keep finessing it. I'm gonna flip it upside down like this. I'd wanna give it a listen, make sure that it sounds good. It's not muffled or anything. If it's a little muffled, I could move it farther up her neckline. But at least it looks clean. We can't see the mic, we can't see the cables. Sometimes it just takes some finagling. Don't be afraid to take your time with it. I know it's awkward. You're like pinned to them, but just say, hey, just be patient with me a few more minutes while I figure out exactly how I want this to look, and just let them know that you're doing that so that it looks the best for their video. So now, quick tip on where to place your transmitter. This is something that I have changed up a lot over my years as a videographer. I started out asking them to put it on their hip, on their belt. Lately, what I've been doing is I'll actually just sort of tuck the cable, and I'll let them know, like, hey, I'm just gonna tuck this cable around behind you a little bit, and I might even ask them to sit on it. And then I just place this on the floor by their legs. It's often not in my shot at that point, and I get the best signal from the transmitter to my receiver. So once I have my mic set up and my transmitter, then I move over to my receiver, and we have two options for that. We can either go straight into camera or into an audio recording device. I personally use an audio recording device, because an external recorder, because it gives me a lot more control over the sound, and I just have more control over the levels. But you can also run it straight into camera and then just adjust the levels in camera to make sure that you're not peaking. More audio guidelines for you in the audio checklist, audio sweep checklist. So check that resource out if you feel a little iffy on your audio and want some extra tips. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this content and you want more tutorials, click the bell to subscribe, and drop a comment with one thing that you learned today or a request for a future video.